Right.
Okay. And hello, everyone. Welcome to today's episode of Adam and Jake on the Movies. I'm Jake.
And I'm Adam.
And every week we watch a movie, we talk about it, we use really good lighting, really good microphones, and we talk about what we like about it, what we didn't like about it. We take a very academic approach to it because
Yes,
we
we do.
are academics and professionals. So this movie, we took the academic film Dirty Rotten Scoundrels, which kind of falls in line with we were doing Steve Martin November, even though
Yeah.
it is December. But
And I've been called a dirty, rotten scoundrel many times as well. So it fits in with what people think of me.
I used to in my old age, but not so much, or my younger age, but not so much in my older age. So
You're aging like Benjamin Button.
yeah, I really am. I have now my baby face. So anyway, we're gonna answer a few questions about Dirty Rotten Scoundrels that was released in 1988. It was directed by Frank Oz, which I didn't
I didn't
realize.
know that either. I
That
didn't know
was
that.
that one. That was the first thing that kind of stuck out to me. I was like, written by Dale Launer, Stanley Shapiro, and Paul Henning, and it's starring Steve Martin as Freddie Benson and Michael Caine as Lawrence Jameson. Do you have a synopsis for us today?
I do. And it's about two con men who try to settle the rivalry by betting on who can swindle a young American out of $50,000 first.
All right, first question. Had you seen this before?
No, sadly, I had seen the ending before I'd seen anything else.
Ah,
So I knew how it ended.
all right, spoilers, spoilers, spoilers.
Yes. But other than that, I'd never seen it. How about yourself?
Yeah, I saw it back when I don't know, I was like 8, I think the first time I saw it. So it was many, many, many years ago. But I've seen it many times since then because I just like it so much.
Oh,
But
people
what
were
was your
asking what
initial?
movie. Dirty Rotten Scoundrels is the movie. Steve Martin movie as
Oh, yeah.
well.
What was your initial reaction after the movie?
I did enjoy the movie. I liked it, but I didn't like it as much as I thought that I would.
Okay.
Um, there was nothing that I could pinpoint except I would say it ended. It seemed like it had two endings. Like I thought it ended, and then it ended again. So I like the movie and I would recommend the movie, but it would be a movie that I probably revisit every 5 years, maybe.
Wow, the tables are turned. I wrote down. I wish there was a. Um, wait, no, that was different. Initial reaction. The initial reaction is after the first time I saw it, I was like, never saw that coming. Like, never saw any hints of it. Did not know where that was coming from. Again, spoiler alerts. I I love a movie where I can't figure out what the ending is,
Right.
and this one was so good. I thought at presenting that in a way that you just never saw. Like
See,
you just never
my
saw.
reaction might have been different had I not known the ending already.
Mm. That's the
And
way I feel about Sixth Sense. I knew the
yeah,
ending of Sixth Sense before I watched it.
yeah. And it just happened to be a mistake because I was just flipping through one night and this movie happened to be on and I watched it, but I didn't really realize what part of the movie it was on.
Mm.
And then I saw the first the first what I call the first ending, and I was like, oh man, this is the end of the movie. So I didn't watch the second ending, but I kind of knew
Oh,
the little bit of the twist. And
yeah.
we're on Instagram Live also, by the way, everyone.
Uh, what what's something that you would change about this film?
The two endings. I mean, I guess I don't want to give out the spoiler alert or the spoiler, but I guess I will. I mean, it's a movie from what
We've
1988.
said spoiler like 50 times, so
So
people hopefully have hit pause and they're coming back later.
so
So fast
so
forward
there's a
two
little bit of a
hours. Here
twist.
we are.
So the twist is that the woman that they're trying to get the money from, and later on ending up trying to sleep with, is actually a con artist in her own right, and she has been conning them the whole time. And that's the first when when Steve Martin runs out and she's on the plane and she flies away and stuff like that, or you think she flies away. I consider that the first ending. I
Okay.
thought it was I thought it could have ended there and it would have been fine. Now they come back and um, Michael Caine and Steve Martin, I forget exactly where they are, but there's like a tourist group or something coming through, and she's trying to, work a con again. And then she has a different accent, she has different clothing on, and then she reveals to herself, to them, and then they walk across at the end of the movie, arm in arm, walking across, because they're like, she got us, she got us. I didn't think that added anything to it. I didn't.
Really?
Yeah, I didn't think it added anything. I thought it was redundant, except the first time they were kind of upset that she left. When in
Yeah.
the second time they embraced, she's a better con artist than we are. Okay, let's.
Yeah.
I didn't hate it, but uh, it was unsatisfactory toward me.
Okay.
To
All
me.
right.
What about yourself?
I wrote, man, I wish there was a sequel.
Hmm.
I would love to see the three of them go
Team up
after
together.
somebody because you could tell that's like where it was heading. So with the ending, the one thing I did like about the ending is that the last thing you want to see is three masterminds split up and go off into the world separate.
All right.
Like you want to see them come together and do more. And that is one area. That's one thing that I wish that so much that they could have written another
Hey,
version
Mark.
of it just to see where else they could go with it. But in the rest of the movie, though, I was thinking like the rest of the movie, I didn't really feel. All right, so just to be honest, I was going to just kind of flip through the movie and
Revisit some of the scenes.
revisit, remind myself what happened, and then just kind of get to the end, and then do the thing. But once I started watching it, I kept waiting for a lull to cut and move
Yeah.
forward, and I never got one. I ended up staying up like really late watching this thing, thinking that I was only going to do a little portion of it because it just kept moving, and
Yeah, it does move quickly.
there's not much fat there that they could
Mhm.
cut out. So
The
I
montages
really
are good too. They're good. The couple
the
montages that are in there.
oh my gosh, the montages are so good. I
Yeah.
love them. What do you think about the main characters arc in
Um,
the film? Do you want me to take this one first?
yeah, you can take that one.
Okay. Here's what I love about the ending. This is why I like the ending so much. So at the beginning, which when I thought about this movie, I was like, their arc is that they're cocky, or
Yeah,
that's what their problem is, that they're cocky. But then I realized that's not the problem with them. The problem is they have no respect for women at all. And they even say it, that we're this. One of them says we're the better sex and whatever, but they both live that men are better than women.
I didn't take that into account, but yeah, I can see that now.
And then at the end, that's what I love about the end, is that Michael Caine, well, they both kind of, that last little vignette is them accepting that she is good, if not better than they are.
I think it's implied that she's better.
She's better, yeah. So they now have a high respect for her because they've
Yeah,
upped their games to the top of the top, and now she beats both of them. And that's what I love so much about the ending, is that it just it closes up that that tunnel or whatever for their arc, to say, you know what, we do respect women because they're a little bit smarter than we are.
yeah. I never thought of it. I didn't think at that point at all. That hadn't even crossed my mind. But that is a good point. Very good point.
What do you think about their arcs?
I thought that their arcs were, did they really, other than the point you just made, did they really learn anything other than what not to do? And no, not really. And I like that about them because they were in my like lovable enough. Like I didn't hate either one of them. So it wasn't like I hope Steve Martin's character gets victorious or I hope Michael Caine's character wins the con. It was kind of like watching two good actors or actresses duking out a scene really
Mm-hmm.
well, doing a really great scene, and these were masters at their craft in a lot of the scenes. And I agree with you that there was not much fat at all. but I didn't think there was much of a, other than the respect that you just mentioned. I don't think there was much of a character arc to either character.
See, I was thinking the same thing too, because I was like, they don't really, they just do a con and then they just move on with their lives. But then that last scene comes in, and that's where I think it just wraps it all up in a bow and says, if you didn't get it, that they didn't respect women, but now they respect this woman,
Yeah,
then here it is. And I think that was where, but like I said, how many viewings have I had of this movie, and I just now figured it out. I'm like, oh, because early on they mention it, and that's where I was like, oh, that's what this movie's about.
yeah.
So, uh, who was uh, who's your favorite secondary character?
I mean,
And we can put Janet Colgate in there too, who's played by Glenn
Headley or Headley,
Headley.
something like that.
Headley, yeah, Glenn Headley. Which I just looked it up. She died a few years ago.
Really?
She was like 60,
Wow. So
and
not.
yeah, she had like a no, yeah, she was 62, and she had some kind of thing that just got her. She she was gone real
Wow.
fast. But yeah. What do you think about? What was your favorite secondary character?
I guess. I mean, other than I really, in all honesty, didn't pay attention to a lot of characters other than those three. I mean, Michael Caine's little assistant, but I wouldn't think that he was one of my favorites because he annoyed me. Like I'm
Which
like because I was like Steve Martin is on his own doing the con, but Michael Caine has this little minion kind of helping him out. So
mm-hmm.
I was like, it's kind of 1.5 against one. So he was a good secondary character, but I didn't really like him. Like, I didn't like him, but he did a good job. And I thought it brought a little more like edge to Michael Caine because it shows he is a little more sophisticated in the con artistry. He has a helper that's kind of helping him out. Steve Martin's kind of on his own. Um, so I guess I don't know that guy's name, but I guess that guy,
Andre,
Andre.
Inspector Andre. Yeah.
What about yourself?
I liked I liked Arthur, the butler. I thought he was
Okay.
really good at like the part where he leans over to to Steve Martin and says, "Welcome to hell." I thought that
Yeah,
was a fun character. But I really 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 like Lady Fanny of Omaha. I
later.
loved
Yeah,
how ridiculous she was and how well she like or how much she fell into these cons that she was being presented by Michael Caine, by
right.
Lawrence Jameson. So yeah, I definitely have to say Lady Franny. And the scene in the airplane where she like motions Freddie into the front of the airplane to
Yeah.
tell him to talk to him about it. So I was like, I like Lady Franny of Omaha. It's such a ridiculous name.
And
What
it's
do you?
Omaha of all places
I
too.
know. What were they? They were Omaha, Oklahoma, Cleveland, and somewhere else. I think were the pretty much all like Midwestern
Yeah, Midwestern
rich
places.
people, stupid rich people. Music. I'll go with music first.
Okay.
I thought it was really good. I thought the music fit the score really well. They did "Putting on the Ritz." Is that what it's called?
Yes, I noticed that as well.
They had a really jazzy song when he's spending his money at the beginning, spending that he'd like Steve Martin conned somebody. There was a fun little jazzy song there. It had like a sleazy French feel to it
Good.
too. So I was like, this kind of helps put me into this Beaumont sur Mer or whatever it's called. So I liked it. I thought it was very appropriate.
Yeah, I noticed the putting on the Ritz, and I noticed little bits and pieces throughout, and I thought it fit. I thought it was a nice complimentary soundtrack.
Hmm.
Um, it didn't blow me away. It didn't, but it fit. It did what it needed to do,
Yeah.
and I enjoyed it. I mean, nothing really stands out as like other than a few things you mentioned, but I liked it. I thought it. I couldn't think of any. I didn't watch it thinking, and the score could be a little better. I thought it
Yeah.
worked. I thought it worked.
What was your favorite scene?
I know it's a scene that it telegraphs, what's going to happen, and it might be a cliched scene, but it did make me laugh. Is when you know Steve Martin, they're pushing him in there, and Michael Caine comes in as the doctor, and he gets that little thing, and he starts hitting his leg. He
Little
goes, "Wing," and then he
sword
starts hitting his leg, and the Steve Martin face is keeping in the pain, and then he runs across the room with it, and then hits him. And then at one point she says, "Look, doctor, he's so happy he's crying." And that whole little scene,
and he goes, or my name is not Doctor
yes.
Schaffhausen
So,
third.
I know I knew that was going to happen, but I thought it was a fun scene. It was silly, but I enjoyed that scene. What about you?
That was on my list of fun scenes. I thought the jail scene is one that we talk about. Me and my family talk about, where he's trying to think of Lawrence Jameson's name, where he's like, Lawrence Jesterston.
He says about
Lawrence,
7 different names, doesn't he?
We play that game all the time. But my favorite, I think, was the sailor scene where where Janet and Dr. Emil at this time are dancing, and he's just rubbing it in to Freddie. And
Yeah.
there's the 2 sailors behind him.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And he's scheming out while they're dancing. And those sailors I thought were so funny.
Yeah.
They were some of my favorite characters. They
That was a good
actually
scene.
made the list.
I do remember watching that. That was a good scene.
Yeah, but I absolutely loved that scene. But the one you talked about it too was probably it was one of my top 3 scenes of this movie. Final thoughts. What'd you think? Do you want me to take it first? I'll take it first.
Yeah, go ahead.
I hadn't seen this movie in a few years, and having sat down and watched it all the way through again, I probably watch it about every year.
Okay.
I think to me, it's worth watching every year. I think the comedy's great. I think the characters are phenomenal. Music's good. And it's just there's very few scenes where I feel like it slows the pace down or
Right.
it feels like a lull. So for me, I think if you haven't seen it and you like Steve Martin, or you like Michael Caine, or you just like comedy,
yeah,
situational comedy too, I think you'll really, really enjoy this movie, because it's to me, it's a bunch of artists at their best.
I agree.
Yeah.
So. I like the movie. Like I said earlier, I didn't like it as much as I thought that I would, but that doesn't mean I didn't like it. I did enjoy it.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought I didn't find it dull at all. I found it moved along quickly. Like we said, the montages were really fun, especially one of the montages when they're like trying to lean up against the wall, like this wall. And they do that a couple of times. I was like, okay. I would recommend it if people, like you said, if people like Steve Martin or Michael Caine, and they might not have seen Michael Caine in this type of a role, because he does a lot of serious roles as well. Check it out. It's worth your time. I don't feel like it's a waste of time at all. And now looking at some of the things that you've mentioned, I might have to go back and revisit, relatively sooner than I thought. So I'd say people should check it out.
Michael Caine in this role reminds me of Jeff Daniels in Dumb and Dumber, because it's a role that you really like. To me, it's the first Michael Caine role I ever really saw, and then he never does anything close to this again. And Jeff Daniels was the first thing I ever saw of Jeff Daniels, and he again really never revisits comedy that much.
No.
After, so
not at all. So yeah, I think people should definitely give it a chance. Check it out.
Good. All right. Well, that's going to do it for this episode. What are we going to do next week? Are we going to do Christmas movies or no?
Well, I've got there's been requests of there's been 2 movies that were request. So I would like to do a movie called The Lighthouse first.
For December?
Yeah.
Okay.
Have you heard of this movie?
Yeah, I've been avoiding it, but that's fine.
Have you really?
Yeah, we have to do Die Hard. We did put Die Hard on the list because I'd never seen Die Hard before. So we have to do that at least before the end of December.
So you have been avoiding this movie.
Yeah, because I originally wanted to see it, and then I watched the trailer, and I was like, this looks terrible. So,
okay. Well, there's another
Nope,
choice.
that's fine. Nope, it's
Okay.
fine. We'll do Lighthouse.
So here's what we'll do. We'll do the Lighthouse, and then we'll do the rest of December of Christmas movies.
Okay.
And then we have another request of the Brad Pitt movie Troy, that with Eric Bana. So that needs, we'll do that, maybe in January then.
Okay. Yeah. Let's push that back to January. Let's do something Christmassy because I feel like that's gonna.
Bring in some people.
Yeah, it's gonna bring in some viewers. So.
So
But all right.
the Lighthouse. Wow, this is the first one where I've heard you say you're avoiding it.
Yeah, I just don't want to, but that's fine. It's gonna be good.
Okay.
All right. So anyway, next week we'll be back with the Lighthouse. So if you want to, whatever. If you
And
don't,
stay tuned.
no
We'll be
worries.
back for the other people show in just a moment.
Oh yeah, and then plug us Wednesday nights.
Yeah, we're on King Network TV, powered by Roku TV, 7 p.m. Wednesday nights. Check out the show. It could be a show in there. It could be a sketch. So you never know. Just check that out. And please go to kingnetworktv.com and they can check out on demand, and our videos are on demand. And you're the face of On the Movies and the other people show. So your face is on there multiple times.
All right. Well, yeah, that's gonna do it for this episode. So we'll be back next Wednesday, probably Wednesday
Yeah,
next week,
probably
where
so.
we'll talk about the Lighthouse. So go out, watch the Lighthouse. First, watch Dirty Rotten Scoundrels. Hopefully, you already watched it. Go watch the Lighthouse, and then we'll talk about it next week, and we'll
Yep.
see how well that goes. My hopes are not real high.
Okay.
We'll see.
Okay. We'll see.
All right, cool. We'll see you back next week. So for now, I'm Jake,
And I'm Adam.
and we'll see you then.
See you later.